Hi crafty friends, it's Lori with a craft party. Today we are going to make a book cover for our junk journal out of a book cover. So I've got this and I wanted to show you. This had writing on the spine from where I used a book, and this is what I did. I took this fibered tape, which I don't know that it has to be fibered, but that's just what I had on hand. And I pulled on it, pushed it down, and then pulled up. And it took that ink off of there. So I don't have to worry about that shining through my material. There we go. So now we don't have the red mark on the book cover. I'm going to use some of this Scotch tape down the spine to strengthen the spine up. Grab my scissors. Okay, and this book spine measures 12 1/4 by about 8 1/2. And I specifically chose a white one because I'm going to use some thinner material, some linen. I have a 1-inch piece of cardboard that I just used. I'll show you. I had this notebook of paper that I got from the thrift store for 55 cents, and I took the back off and I cut the 1 inch off of that. And I'm going to lay it down in here with some Fabri-Tac. So I'm just going to be real generous with the glue down the middle. Good grief, can't talk today. Just be real generous. It's going to leak out a little bit, but that's okay. We want to make sure that spine is stable. Okay. Actually, it didn't leak out at all, and I was real generous with the glue. So now we have the spine on there. There, it's starting to leak out a little bit. That's why we have our towel close at hand. And then we want to take an extra piece of the linen, and this linen just measures approximately 2 by 11, and I'll be cutting some off. I want to get out the Fabri-Tac again. And this is just to strengthen your spine. You want to make sure that spine's going to hold those signatures really well. Putting lots of glue on it, and then I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to spread this so that it's not one big clump. Okay, use my towel, grab my linen, and you can use a bed sheet. You can buy the material at well, you can't buy it at Joann's no more because there's no Joann's anymore, but at Hobby Lobby or any of your favorite sewing stores. I just happened to get this at the thrift store for really cheap. I don't remember how much, but it was really good price, so I picked it up there. I have a tendency to pick up a lot of my tools at the thrift store. Then we want to cut this off. Now, if you don't like these strings hanging off, go ahead and feel free to cut it, or cut it with a rotary tool or what have you. But I just happen to like those strings, so I use it and I rip the material when I get it where I want it. And then I've got some material, and the material measures 14 3/4 by 11. And I'm going to lay so the book cover is good side up, and the material is laid down. So we're going to glue on the inside of the cover. Now this is a no-sew. You could sew this too if you wanted to. I am just going to no-sew this one because I'm going to use a bunch of doilies, I think, for the cover. And this, putting the glue down, takes a little while. Get it real good on the spine. It's coming out fast now. I'm giving it a good squeeze though, so that's why. But you use up a lot of the glue on this type of work. Go ahead and smush it out. We want to make sure that we get lots of glue on here. I think this side needs more. Okay. I'm just going to use my finger to spread it out real well. I've got the fan on, so I think that might play a part in this drying so fast, but it does dry fast anyway. Okay, we've done that. Now we just want to turn it over and put it as much in the center as possible. Gonna clean the glue off my fingers for a second. And now the outside is what is laying up. And we want to fold this. Well, actually, we want to kind of cut off these corners. I got a new pair of scissors. They're the Tim Holtz scissors, and they're real long like these, and I'm loving them. I don't know if it's because I haven't sharpened this silver pair in a while or what, but I'm loving the new Tim Holtz scissors that I have so much more. And unfortunately, they're in the other room because I was doing some fussy cutting last night with them. And so I don't have them in here to use. And you just want to spread the glue out. Again, smushing it down. That's the main thing, is you want to have it smushed down and fold it over. And go ahead and use that gluey finger to help smear it down. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the opposite side. Smush it down. And it's kind of rolling up on me, so I want to unroll that because I don't want that to be under my cover rolled up. My fingers are nice and sticky, but that's okay because we want to use that. That'll help keep that edge down. Wipe some of it off. And then I'm going to do this edge. And see how this is uneven? That's okay. It's not going to hurt anything because it's not going to be seen. And we just pull it, kind of pull it taut. And that one's curling up, so I'm going to put some more glue on it just so I can smooth it down. If you haven't noticed, the idea here when you're doing a non-sew spine is glue, glue, glue. Still wanting to fold up, isn't it? Yeah, we're getting it. There, it's coming up again. Alright, we'll keep an eye on it, make sure it's staying down. We're going to do this side. And again, same thing, smush it out. And then fold it up. And this one wants to curve too. And you want to try to smooth it out as best you can, because when you put the cover on, that's going to cause a wrinkle in your material of your cover. So you want to try to have everything smoothed down and as flat as possible. Oops, I just glued it to the table. Okay, I'm going to wipe that up a little bit. Which isn't going to hurt anything because it'll roll up, ball up later. Okay, then I have some of the same linen. And you got to keep track of what your outside and your inside. My outside has the tape on it. And we are going to do the same thing with this material. For the spine, you could use any kind of tape, masking tape or box tape. I just happen to have that threaded tape on hand, so I thought that would be the best. There's also Tyvek, I think it's called, tape. A lot of people recommend that. I don't have any of that, and I know it's pretty expensive, so I just typically use what I've got on hand. And I'm just smoothing this glue out that I smeared all over the place. And you're going to have strings, especially if you pull the material to rip it to get your sizes, which is what I do. I just rip the material instead of cutting it all the way across. Then you want to lay your material on here pretty centered. And you want to flatten it out as best you can. Really get in those creases. Smooth it out really nice. Because like I said, what you don't smooth out is going to show in your final binding. Okay, we're going to turn this over. We want to cut those corners out again. And you want to be careful not to cut the material you already glued down. But if you'll notice, this isn't a fancy cut. This is just cutting it down because this is just making our first part of the cover. Like I said before, I plan on using lace and doilies kind of things for the actual cover. And we're spreading out the Fabri-Tac again. And the threads are sticking up still where I didn't get enough glue on the threads, so I'm going to put some more glue on them just to help adhere those threads attached to the other part of the binding cover. Okay, and I'm going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Now I like using the Fabri-Tac because it is for paper and fabric. And so it adheres the fabric really good to itself. And that's what we're wanting. That turned out real good. This one needs a little bit more right here. Okay, and then we've got the edges to do, the sides. And it's kind of messy. If you don't like your fingers being all gluey, you can always use a spatula. Or I have this kind of spatula, makeup spatula, that you could use to spread your glue out. Because, like I said, it does get a little messy with your fingers. But that's part of the fun. It's definitely hands-on. And there's a spot right there that I had sticking up, so I want to make sure I get that down. The less you have sticking up, the less chances you will have of being able to see your wrinkles and all that in the final project. Okay. And we've got this final edge to do, and I pull it kind of taut. It folded up on me, so hopefully it's still taut enough. Sorry if I'm moving the camera. Put some down this thread edge and down that corner, and then smear it around. And now you just let this dry, and it just depends on how long it takes to dry, how thick your glue is and everything. If you leave it for a couple hours, I'm sure after that it will be perfect. So I am going to leave you at that and come back with a part 2 once this dries, and we'll use the doilies and such to make a cover. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for crafting with me. Hugs.